Welcome to DreamLeague Season 5, and we're live here with games that's going to be determining the outcome of League play, I would imagine. We're going to have Virtus Pro twice in a row. They're first going to face Vega, and then they're going to face Na'Vi. And with me on the panel is, first of all, Andy. Welcome back. And then we have two people that are going to abandon us. Tomorrow, before the last day. What's up with that, guys?
Yep, I'm leaving. It'll be my last day along with OD Pixel. What are we doing, OD? What's the deal?
I don't know. What are we doing?
What are we doing, man? We're just bailing, bro.
See, the thing is, I think OD might have legitimately forgotten. I mean, that's just Owen.
I was expecting to come here tomorrow. I was meant to be doing something else, you know.
Yeah, we're off to ESL Manila. Wait. Yes, ESL Manila. Right.
Yeah.
What were you questioning? The location of the company?
I sometimes say a lot Manila Major, but ESL Manila.
It's not a major.
Come on. We'll be going to that tomorrow. So this will be our last day, and they might invite us back for the finals, maybe. Crossing our fingers.
Yeah, finals.
Hope so.
May the 22nd or
21st and 22nd.
Ah, yes. So should be pretty good for that. But anyway.
What's your heat protection going to be?
My heat protection?
It's going to be 43 degrees Celsius, which I'm not entirely sure what that is in Fahrenheit.
You're going to be on fire.
Yeah, it's like 107 or something.
Yeah, you walk outside and your skin just goes, you just light on fire.
Yeah.
It's humid though, so in addition to being sweltering hot, it will also be like walking around wet the entire time.
In a swimming pool.
Yeah.
You're basically going to walk around in a hot bath.
43 degrees, like 80 to 90% humidity.
You know what? If our Filipino friends can handle it...
They said even the locals were suffering.
You know what? If those wussy Filipinos can't handle it, then I sure can. So it should be fine. I'm sure ESL won't allow us to die, right, Owen?
Well, that's the kind of the logic I'm going on. I'm like, it'll look bad for the event if anything bad happens to me. So I'm just trusting ESL.
Like
I'm sure they'll look after me. Anything
they do
bad,
have air conditioning.
I'm making a Reddit thread. ESL, and I know that these companies don't like that. I'll make a very strongly worded Twitter post as well. So
if you die
with
if I die, can I not put that? You can put those stuff on timers, can't you? Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll schedule my death tweet. And then if I'm still alive, I'll cancel it. If I'm not alive, it will go out.
What if that was a thing? What if death tweet was a thing? Like when you died, you write your will and you write your death tweet.
You can just postpone it every night before you go to bed. Postpone till the next day. I made it another day, guys. And
you're limiting yourself to what is it, 180 characters or something like that?
Exactly. 140 characters.
Yeah, I mean, come on. How interesting are lives, really? Jeez, you can fit it in.
You can do tweet longer.
No. I mean, mine would be the same one every day. Worth it.
Worth it. I mean? Wow.
Because no matter what happens, worth.
Even on the bad days.
But then what if you die and then it wasn't worth it, and then you're like, damn, it wasn't worth it. Now
I'll be dead because then it's always worth it because I won't care either way.
Or
will you? Because
you don't know what's going to happen when you die. Maybe you're a ghost and you actually care a lot about what you tweeted.
I'm haunting the shit out of Jake if I'm a ghost.
That'd be sick. I could use a friend.
Yeah. I'd just be in his house watching him play Dota. Like, what are you doing? Stop that.
I think out of all the ghosts, Shiver would be like, she'd try to spook you, but it wouldn't be scary at all. Yeah. It would be like,
ooh,
Shiver would come and be like, ooh! And you'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Shiver's like, do you have anything sweet in the house?
Ooh, I made tea for us. But Drasco, you would be like, you'd wake up to go haunt, and you'd still be in bed by like 8. By the time you would get up to haunt somebody, you'd be like, oh, they're asleep. And then you'd go back. My MMR would go up 500 points if you were a ghost haunting me, just from boredom. OD would be the worst ghost.
The worst ghost?
He'd be a poltergeist.
He would be a horrifying ghost.
Oh, is he just trying to be a good ghost?
Yeah, a great ghost.
Yeah, okay.
You'd be good at ghosting.
Yeah, bring a lady over, things are starting to get heavy, you're like, yeah, so maybe you can then all of a sudden, just some screaming from the other room. What was that? Nothing. Don't worry about that.
I think you just explained my parents' relationship.
Oh, God. And that's why Owen doesn't have any siblings.
Okay.
He does, though.
Any more than one sibling.
Jesus. Well, anyway, what's going on in the Dota world, Shiver?
You were gonna call her Shane, then you were gonna say Shaver.
Shaver?
Then you were like, oh,
Shaver Gaming.
That'd be
great
cool.
Name.
Yeah.
What? Shaver.
What if you had a co-caster named Shaver? Shiver and Shaver.
I
I don't know
know.
what's happening right now.
That sounds like a.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
sure there's Dota happening today.
Yeah, moving
No,
on.
yeah, that too. And also in the Dota world, I think a lot of people are discussing how Team Secret will do at ESL Manila, and I want to hear from you guys. I mean, you're going there. I
Yeah.
saw your predictions about what's
Yeah,
going to
so that'd
happen,
be
where
good.
you're going to crash on an island,
Right.
someone's going to win a Nobel Prize
An
or
Oscar.
an Oscar. Sorry.
Nobel Prize, they're for if you do something smart, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, Oscars
Technically,
if you
yes.
do something where you act.
Although we are kind of just giving them away nowadays, aren't we?
True.
Nobel
Oscars?
Prizes?
Nobel Peace Prizes, yeah.
Who
Who
won
got
the
the
last
last
one?
I don't actually know.
Obama's.
Obama.
He
Did
got
he
one.
win? Did he actually
Did
win
he?
the Nobel
Yeah, he
Prize?
got
Oh.
one when he got elected.
Oh.
It was a funny
Oh.
one because he's like, I'm gonna do all this stuff, and they're like, here's a Nobel.
Yeah, they
It's
just
like,
throw it at you.
Thanks,
Like,
baby.
yeah, whatever. It's kind of lost all meaning at this point.
Get like $1 million bucks.
Would a president
Well, I mean,
not get it
obviously you
every
get money,
single
but-
time? Because every president says, oh, I'm going to do all of this kind of stuff. And, you know, regardless of if it happens
And then they
or not,
forget that there's actually a government, and it's not just him.
Hey,
They're like,
whoa, whoa,
oh,
whoa.
wait, I can't actually do any of these things.
I have to
But-
tell someone
Hey,
else.
no politics.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
one thing I know in my life.
Yeah, yeah,
Never
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about
We'll
religion or
move on.
politics with other people.
Oh.
Leave it for forum posts. So,
With other people.
Leave it for Twitch chat.
yeah, please.
Twitch chat are experts on
I'm
both
sure
of the
they're already in
subjects.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what were we talking about? Oh, yeah,
We're talking about Team Secret. Yeah.
Team Secret. All right.
I mean, there was actually a blog post written recently, or was it an interview? I can't remember. It was Envy.
Yeah,
And he was
the
talking
interview.
about like the importance of scrimming and how a lot of the tier 1 teams nowadays kind of had a lack of time because there are just so many tournaments. So I think that a team who has kind of been under the radar, you know, has a new roster, they've been working with Universe and Artor and trying to make sure that they're all on the same page. I think that is a scary thing for a lot of teams because sure, they're scrimming and a lot of teams might know what they're doing, but at the same time, that's the time when you learn. You know what I mean? Between tournaments, you don't have time to really adapt. It's like you play what you think is the best and you just keep playing it until you lose. And then when you lose, you go back and you say, okay, maybe now we can change. But during that scrim time, you have all these options. You can do whatever you want. And you could do whatever you think is like best during that given time, prepare it, and then coming into ESL 1 Manila, I feel like they should be like a really strong team on paper. Although DK circa, what was it, 2014?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were like the godliest Chinese/C lineup you could possibly put together, and they still let us down, so who knows?
All-star team. Basically, all-star
Yep.
team let downs
Yeah.
so far.
Best team I ever heard of was this great team. It had one of the best carries in the mid. It had some of the best supports.
I know what he's talking about.
It was TI4 Team Secret. I'm like, they're
TI5
never
Team
going to
Secret.
lose. It's the greatest
Yeah.
team ever
They
leading
had
up.
internal problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. I love all the guys on TI5 Secret. They're great. Or TI6 Secret, whatever. TI4. Oh,
TI4
God.
Secret.
Why
TI5.
can't we call them different things? Anyway. I love all the guys on the team. They're all very talented, but will they be able to mesh well with all those personalities?
I
don't
think
know.
actually the two people that they added to the team, like after removing Misery and Wee, are two of the most easygoing people in the scene. Like sure, Artor on a stream, he has like a baby rage persona, whatever.
Right.
But I don't think that's actually how he is in a scrim, because otherwise he would never get a team. You know, I mean that's just if you're Universe, I see that guy as like one of the most chill people on the planet. I don't think
Yeah.
you could actually get into an argument with Universe just by like watching him, even when he plays the game. He, like,
And
he
even if
never,
he would, it would be after the game in a relaxed setting, like, hey,
yeah.
could do this differently. But
I
it wouldn't
actually
affect
think-
the spirit.
And even on average, they have quite a few older players as well. Like, obviously, Artor is a bit younger, but they have a lot of people who have been around the scene for a very long time. And I don't
Yeah.
think that it's the same type of people who would be quick to anger. And even if they are, you know, you can sort it out.
Oh, and with Mikasa doing really well, and he's 30, this is gonna be like the year of old Dota players.
Yeah.
And people are gonna find out that older players are actually better, rather than the young prodigies that we see coming up. This is my chance.
This is it, Sheaves.
Yes.
Yes, Team Secret TI8. Sheaver.
Yeah,
Captain.
7. Come on.
Well,
She could get there.
You need a year of practice at least. Come on, let's be real here.
Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
All right. I love all the guys. I hope they do well, but I really hope they lose for the memes. I mean,
I mean, it's one of those things where you have
It's just
extremely high expectations just
Yeah.
because of their roster. But the thing is that they only... I want to say the roles that they replaced are fairly easy to replace, and that's why you constantly see like those core positions coming into competitive play. Like a lot of the newer players have a tendency to be a 1 or a 2 role,
Yeah.
because it's the easiest to be mechanically skilled in those roles and have not as good game sense, but still be able to perform. And these guys have obviously been in the scene for a very long time. Although offlane is probably a bit harder, I would guess. Offlane's maybe one of the harder roles besides support. But either way, Universe, obviously the guy's been around forever. TI1 through TI,
Yeah.
coming up to 6. He'll be in all of them. So I don't think that it's going to take very long for them to adapt.
Oh, and the event's only 2 to 3 days. 3 days,
days.
including group stages. Do you think that benefits them or not?
Oh, yeah, I think obviously with the players you're talking about how they're old, they're obviously very used to playing in the LAN setting. Pretty much, yeah, everyone on the team there must have been to numerous events over the years. So I think in that sense it's going to be good. Also, the fact that you're going into a LAN portion where they've obviously, I'm pretty sure they've been boot camping. They've all been at the Secret House. I don't know how long they've been at there, but they have been playing there. I don't know if all the teams have been boot camping that are going into ESL Manila, so they'll obviously have that edge. I think there'll obviously be a lot of pressure on them maybe to perform, but again, because they're experienced, that's not going to be anything new to the players. They've been at events before where they've already been seen as the best. They've already been seen as expected to do really well. So I really feel that it's one of those teams that on paper they're just incredibly strong, and before people, there's been these teams where everyone's like they're not going to lose, but there's always been something that's kind of going to be holding them back. But it's really hard to see what's going to hold back this team.
I think they're actually like a better version of the DK in 2014. That's what I see them as right now, which is kind of scary in my mind. You know what I mean?
Strong words.
But that's the thing, right? Because DK was scary in everybody's mind as well.
I don't think so.
They're
That team
gonna
was
live
like,
up to it.
okay, how does this team actually lose a game? And to be honest, they did put on some really epic performances.
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of really good games from that team. But nowadays, even going back 1 or 2 years, people in general have just improved so much at the game that I think it's just on another level. Like every single TI is always higher quality play for the most part, depending on the patch. Sometimes you get like a boring patch, you get your TI4 finals, Resident Sleeper, Venomancer, and just 5-man Deathball. But this patch, I think, and the upcoming one, if we get one before the next major or even TI, which I assume we kind of have to, right? It's going to be way too long on one patch.
I hope so. I think everyone hopes so.
Three Valve events on the same patch. That would be the case.
Yeah, it would be very long.
I mean, it's a good patch. I mean,
No,
you would blame him for leaving
the thing
it
is,
on
I
it,
don't even want I don't really necessarily even want huge changes.
Yeah.
I just want some,
Bit of balance shifts.
This
yeah,
is
just
the last
slight
patch.
nerfs. Reduce
last
base armor
patch.
by like
There's
1,
not
whatever.
anymore.
That's the typical Ice Frog, right?
stops.
He'll increase vacuum cooldown by 2 seconds. He'll reduce base armor on a couple of heroes.
He'll change tree and protector.
Yeah, he'll change.
He's
he'll
not going to change the vacuum cooldown again.
He'll buff Pudge, even though that hero honestly is borderline OP.
Dude, in pubs, he's crazy good.
He's insane. Yeah.
Hey, Pudge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pudge is great fun.
Because the thing, it's not even just fun. It's actually like super ridiculous in
It
pubs.
was when you get Ether Lens and Ags, it's like 495 pure damage, I think, per hook.
It's over 5, I
can
think.
lose the early game as much as you want. You're going to be unkillable later
You
on
just have
anyway.
to go to fights. That's all you do.
Yeah, you just got to hit a hook.
As long as somebody dies within 300 radius of you,
You just sit
you're
there.
happy. And
You just sit
honestly, like retroactive flesh heap might be imbalanced.
Better yet, you get yourself a life stealer. You get yourself eaten by a life stealer. Then you don't
Oh
have to do
God, here we
anything
go.
anymore.
You could just turn
turn
on
the
Raw
Raw
and
on.
get
Turn on
inside
Raw
of the
and
life
walk
stealer.
Stealer's got
away.
radiance, yeah.
That honestly is like the most disgusting.
It's
like,
great.
It is so annoying to play against
Was
that.
it the NA teams that are doing that? Or are they just playing Lifestealer?
I think a lot of people were doing that.
Okay.
But people were
I've done
playing
it.
Lifestealer conventionally in pub, or not in pubs, in competitive. And then in pubs, you see like I'm going to buy Radiance and Tranquils and SNY and Aghanims and eat a Pudge and walk around with Rot and...
It's great, man.
Just don't do it. It's not
Don't
worth
do
it.
it.
I
'cause
highly recommend it. I like being the
it's
Pudge.
going to get nerfed.
Being the
or it's going to
Pudge.
get changed.
Okay.
You just fucking leave.
Right, my game's
Don't make a
over now.
sandwich.
Just one.
You just get in me, and then you're like, all right, see you in 15.
Until the scare moment comes when your life stealer actually dies, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of enemy heroes. Like, what am I doing here?
That's good. A lot of people forget that there's heroes in the Ancients, too. They'll just, like, an Invoker will try to pop
they're
out,
like,
and then you just jump out and ult them. There's like, oh, God.
The Ancient's almost dead, and then 2 heroes come out of the Ancient, and you're like, Jesus.
It's pretty spooky.
Verbatim. We have a lot of Dota to go through today as well. We have Virtus Pro night. Virtus Pro will go on to take, well, first Vega and then Na'Vi. But yesterday we had a lot of Na'Vi. We actually had 4 games of Na'Vi. Let's see how that went down here in the recap of yesterday's games.
And it's been working out. He's got an
super
A6.
smooth game for him.
Yeah, I know. Okay, swap onto Spartan, rolled up as well. Will be a cold embrace, buying him some time here now. Thug jumping forward as well. Astrals at the airspeed to buy him more time. There'll be a vacuum for Scarlet, not with any follow-up. Now the Stormhammer only coming out onto the Bear Matter, opposed to the Constraint and the BKB. Trying to walk around the fight. There's a Winter's Curse onto Deddy. Deddy falling low when he go down. No, he gets out of the BKB in time. Matter still trying to fight there with Thug. They're actually doing a decent amount of damage. Ditcher falling low. He will get taken down, but Matter getting control there by Na'Vi. He's going to look for the TP out. Is Deddy cancelled? Deddy, oh, can't quite get the shackle shot in time. Thug will take down Artstar, but he pays with his life. Ends up a 4 for 2. Another fight for Na'Vi.
This is a very fast Roche. And they do not have their Marauder here.
More General jumps in, finds the rod to Stolen. Kefka pops the Ravage, catches out too. Denny getting gushed to the face. The arrow will fly through and it catches out the Witch Doctor, so there won't be any death for this fight. Solan's gone, but they found General. Denny coming through, popping the BKB, fighting against Jalapede. Gets the right clicks through, and now blinks in, looking for more. Takes down Kefka as well. It's 4 down from LC. They had good intentions there. Go for a jump. He's going to look for the angle. He gets himself in. Now Shackle catching out the abandon on the sidelines, and Solan's gone. Jalapede getting caught out as well. It's a power shot to the backside. Artstyle finishes off there with a double kill on his Chen. Root onto Kefka. He's gone as well. 4 dead on LC. GG is called, and Na'Vi have indeed done it here today at Dream League. 4 victories, not dropping a single game.
We are narrowing down our list of suspects to make it to the LAN finals, with Na'Vi winning 4 matches yesterday, or 4 games rather. We can take a look at the standings, where that brings them, because they are back on the top of the list, and I didn't even do that on purpose. I am very sorry, guys. But today, I feel like today is going to be deciding the fate of so many teams, not just Virtus.pro, who's obviously playing 4 games today, which would, how many games they are only allowed to lose 1, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
they would
if
be
they
want to
be very safe, yeah, they only lose 1.
There is a chance if they lose more out of their 4 games, then yeah.
Na'Vi might 2-0 them.
Yeah.
And by might, I mean I'm guessing they're going to 2-0 them.
Then for Vega, they're allowed to lose 2 games of their 4 games remaining. Now they have 2 games tomorrow as well. I believe they have games tomorrow against Na'Vi, so
yeah.
That's going to be a really tricky one for them. Na'Vi is looking pretty solid. They are, out of the 4 games they still have, they are allowed to lose 3.
Yeah.
1 more game and they're guaranteed in. 1 more win.
No Diggity are sitting there like, please God, lose.
Please lose.
Like Na'Vi is the only one they pretty much don't care about, because in order for Na'Vi to even like contest or be contested by No Diggity, they have to lose every single game, which is just not going to happen.
Right.
So if they win 1, they automatically, No Diggity can't contest them anymore, which means they have to rely on Vega and VP to lose.
It's going to be crunch time here.
Yeah. For sure.
At Dream League Season 5.
Sorry, I was just agreeing, and then you like...
It's spooky, man, because you're sitting there, and like if you're an Diggity fan or whatever, you're like, okay, we have to hope that VP and Vega just Na'Vi stomp them. Like that's what has to happen. And it could happen.
It could happen. So, like, regardless, all the teams that we still have in that have a chance to go through are so close in terms of results also recently.
Yep.
We're going to talk about that more later. By the way, guys, if you want to find out more what's happening here behind the scenes, you can do so if you follow us on Snapchat, DH Dream League. There's also filters being used with people's faces, which is kind of awkward sometimes, so, you know, be wary that awkward things might happen.
It's not for the weak of heart,
no,
is what we're saying.
It is not.
PG-13.
Also, if you missed anything, red buttons, games, and pre-shows, they're all on YouTube. DH Dream League is where you can find that as well. And of course, we're on Twitter on DH Dream League again as well. So make sure you check that out and follow, like, subscribe, all the things. And I want to hear from you guys. What do you feel like is going to happen? You already said that you think Na'Vi is going to take out Virtus.pro?
Yeah. I think if one of the team is going to take a game, it would be Vega, I guess.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen VP in a while, so I'm not really sure what they're doing. And Na'Vi really impressed me yesterday, even though they picked pretty much the same exact thing 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
It worked every single time.
That's scary, though, because at some point, someone's going to figure it out.
Well, it's not that they... You can know exactly what a lineup's going to do. And I think a lot of the people who play on teams, you know, captains, they have a very good idea of what the lineup is meant to do. But when you're in the game, it's much different. So, you know, you make a bad rotation, you lose a couple of fights. That one fight yesterday on Conspiracy against Na'Vi where they didn't go to Roshan, like stuff like that. You look at that and you're just like, why didn't we just go to Roche? We could have won the game right there. And, you know, stuff like that happens. And in those types of games, when you're playing against Na'Vi's type of lineup, when they're picking like Lone Druid, Chen, Venge, Beastmaster, these type of really pushing centric heroes, those mistakes are punished much harder because you lose the map control so quickly. And even at the one game where they were playing against on the Conspiracy, they had the Lone Druid, and the second they win one team fight, because of the bear, your base is just dead. So it's a lineup that you cannot afford to make execution mistakes against. And I think that's why Na'Vi are so good with it, because they just constantly pressure. They're like, we're going to make you make a mistake because we're just always throwing a punch at you instead of sitting back and waiting.
Yeah, and even if you have a plan against it, it's never really going to work out exactly the way you hope it to be. So you're thinking they're going to win that Na'Vi's going to win against Virtus.pro.
Yeah.
How do you feel Vega versus Virtus.pro will happen?
Vega versus VP. Ooh, I could actually say that going 1-1, just because I feel like the teams are very volatile, and I know they have a lot of experience against each other, and players know each other very well. Same could be said for Na'Vi, but I feel like Na'Vi are just communicating better on another level at this point.
So you're saying 1-1, 2-0?
Yeah, I would say 1-1.
So you're saying Virtus.pro is like on a fluke?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think, Owen?
I've got to pretty much agree with Andy. I think Na'Vi should be able to 2-0 VP for sure. Definitely considering the recent way both teams have been playing. I think, it's kind of bad to point specific names out, but you do just look, for instance, at the two offlaners. I mean, FNG in general, they just feel like they're on totally different levels at the moment as offlaners. FNG's been struggling a little bit recently in general. He's been having some amazing games. We've seen incredible performances from him on his Bat and his Beastmaster. So I think just kind of little matchups like that, they just put Na'Vi in a better position in terms of skill, in terms of how they're playing as a team as well recently. So I think I've got to say it's a clean 2-0 for Na'Vi. And then with Vega versus VP, I've got to kind of agree with Andy. I think because there is that potential that VP can pull it together, and at the same time Vega are still in my eyes one of the strongest teams in CIS. I think that was highly likely to be a 1-1. I can see both teams pulling something out there.
What do you feel like the bottleneck is there? As you pointed out, the offlane for Na'Vi, what's the bottleneck for Vega VP?
I think for the kind of matchup between the two teams, I think it's more rather than individual player skill, it's just how well they play as a team.
Okay.
How well they manage to pull out the strat. I think the draft's pretty important in that sense as well, because if they are going to go for the kind of play styles that they do like to go for, where they do go for those early aggressive pushes and those early fights, just being able to take one key hero away from, that lineup that VP were looking to have could secure the game for Vega and vice versa. So I think we're going to have some good games today for sure.
Okay, well, it is time for us to take... for them to take their leave and for us to say goodbye to you guys. And for you guys to say goodbye to Owen most of all, because he's not going to be back on this chair.
Ever.
He's gone.
Never, ever. Bye, and time for the guest of the week. And here they are, LD and Shane. Welcome back.
You just can't get rid of us.
I cannot. And
He's trying.
Who would want to get rid of such a smiling face?
Surely you. Out of all the people here,
I gave
surely
it a
you.
short
Jake.
try with the helicopter, but it was too obvious.
We arrived kind of early today, and we noticed there was no monster in the fridge, so we went to the storehouse to collect some monster, right? And it turns out you have to go into this paint shop, and the DreamHack storehouse
But isn't it just somewhere here?
No. It's like it's like a 5-minute walk that way.
Okay.
You go into the paint shop, and you're like, we need to go through your bathroom. The DreamHack storehouse is in the bathroom of a paint.
No, but they know. The paint shop knows.
Yeah, they just kind of nod.
It is understood that.
So
listen,
you walk
we're
in
just
there
passing
and you
through.
nod like,
Don't worry about.
Is there a secret sign or something?
We just need some monster.
Yeah.
We'll
It's
be
really
right
sketchy.
So
back.
it's you're the ones that brought the monster here.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It's actually amazing.
Okay, so there is apparently... Sorry, this is not sellout moment, but there's a new monster, and I normally don't like sugar-free monster.
God, here we go.
But there is one that tastes
It's
just like
actually pretty
Fanta.
good,
It's
though.
amazing.
What is it, Sheever?
I do not know.
What is the name?
What makes it so delicious?
I have no idea.
Is this the monster that you're talking
come
about?
on.
Well, is this sugar-free Ultra Energy Sunrise by Monster Energy Drink? Sheever, what a...
Oh, hey, it looks red on...
Look
It's
at
not
that.
red. It's
what
orange,
a wonderful
guys.
sugarless treat. And boy, we sure do love it here. Sponsored by Sheever Gaming, ladies and gentlemen.
What is the name of the studio?
I believe it's called Monster Energy DreamHack Studios, sponsored by Monster Energy.
Monster Energy.
Great drink, though.
Delicious.
Thank God we brought you here, the master of selling out.
It tastes.
LD to help
It
us
tastes
out.
better because we stole it.
That's great.
It's way more satisfying.
Yeah, you guys
that
were
way.
describing what we in the States call a front. All right.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was.
Typically,
yes.
it's a paint shop, and then you walk in and you're like, let me grab them boxes.
You know, as Martin put it, it kind of felt like a scene out of,
Like The Godfather.
The Godfather, The Sopranos.
The drop.
Something was not right there.
Oh, okay.
I think there's bodies in some of those boxes.
There was no customers in the store anyway, so they weren't doing any business.
They were trying to
don't
hustle
need
us
to do it.
out as well. Like, all right, you got your monster,
They
let's
don't
go.
need to do
There's
business.
nothing more to see.
They got the business in the back.
Damn. Okay, well, I know 3 people that won't be on the panel next year. I have no idea where this place is. Never seen it, never heard of it. You don't have to kill me, DreamHack Studios. But anyway, what do you guys think about these games coming up today? Any excitement? No. Go ahead.
No, what were we gonna say? No.
Well,
No?
clearly you don't
Come on.
actually care what
I
we
don't
think,
care what
so-
you have to say.
So then why don't you just
I
talk
just
about what
don't-
you do care
I
about?
want to sound smart before you guys
Okay,
have
go
the
for it,
chance.
go for it, go.
What no one has considered is that this
Well,
is
that's going to be really hard.
okay. Will you interrupt me again, LD?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, go ahead,
Son of a-
please.
All right. Anyway,
Enlighten us.
what people have not realized is that this is a CIS throwdown. Okay, they want to think that it's going to be the Na'Vi that we saw yesterday. But what they don't know is that these teams scrim against each other. When's the last time Ad Finum has played Na'Vi? Never?
How do you know? How do you know they scrim against each other?
It's the region. They all scrim against each other.
You know what? We can ask that
All right, thank you, Shiver.
after the games because we
We will
interviewing
ask.
people here.
But anyway, I feel like these three teams know each other. They
Yeah,
know
they
each other
do.
very well.
Even if they don't scrim, they know each other
'cause
just
they
because
played on
they
each
grew
other's
up together
teams and all
playing.
that
they
kind
know their
of stuff, yeah.
strats. I don't think it's going to be as stompy as you guys think it might be.
Favorite drinks, desserts,
Yeah.
pizza.
Spike the
Breakfast?
vodka. They're close enough.
That's
hey,
it.
hey, I want a good clean fight. Here.
All right, here.
None of that.
So anyway,
But
what-
if both people spike the vodka, it's still
The
it's
vodka.
equal.
Worst game of Dota you've ever seen.
The vodka. That's what
The wacky
that's what it
vodka,
turns
the
into
vodka.
when it's spiked. That's the
we
wacky
drink,
stuff.
Drink a vodka.
No, I think they are very evenly matched. We saw VP and Vega face off to look at the first matchup a bit. We saw them face off at Star Ladder. It was 2-1 in favor of VP, but Vega looked the most convincing game was that game 1, and VP took that. Or Vega took that rather. And then going into game 2, VP had to pull out a bit of a push cheese strat. Game 3, they had to bust out the Broodmother. They weren't really playing like their straight up Dota. And that's where, now that Vega's played against that, maybe they'll be more prepared. So I could really see this one going either way.
They had a best of 5 yesterday against each other.
They've played
So
7 times in 5 days.
that's insane.
Navi. Yeah.
no, Vega,
No,
VP
Vega VP.
VP.
against each other, like.
Oh yeah.
They're not all the same.
I'm caught up.
And Dire wins like 5 out of 7 times, right? And the only time that the Radiant, like one of the 2 times the Radiant wins, they pick like Broodmother 4 pick, and they didn't really have an answer for it. So like,
More cheesy.
it's definitely, honestly, whoever gets Dire, I think, is heavily favored in this matchup.
And Vega won the games yesterday, but it was a best of 5 and it was 3-2. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's very very close in the series regardless. Before we go into draft, or do you think it's going to be decided by side or draft?
Side,
Okay,
actually.
like
yeah.
completely, it's like you don't favor any team going in.
They actually pick very similar heroes. Like they love their Invoker. Like I think that's like first pick, first ban in this like game itself. They kind of like Beastmaster. Their Doom kind of comes up every now and then. They kind of do the roaming Doom.
Yeah, out of the 2 teams, I would say VP is the one that's more likely to pull out like the pocket pick, whether it's the Broodmother, going for just like a Jungle Doom potentially. They also run the IO for Aloha Dance.
Yeah.
That's something they turn to. Not something Vega really runs much, so that could be a secret weapon for them. I mean, not a secret, but the X factor, so
Yeah.
to speak. I feel like Vega is the more stable team overall. FNG is still adapting to the off lane. He has had some games where he was quiet. He did not have much of an impact. Really the big question mark for me with VP is G. G in the mid lane has not been the G of TI5. He's not been that dominant force. Like going back to the International 5, I honestly felt like G was top 2, top 3 solo mids in the whole event. And just purely in terms of individual play, decision making,
His Queen of Pain
and ability
was,
to
like,
dominate.
Amazing back then. It still is really good. He played it in the best of 5 actually, and he dominated with it.
He's had some really shaky games. Part of it you can maybe attribute to the drafts not really putting him in his comfort matchups. There was a game against Na'Vi where he was up against like a Quap IO and just got run over. I think he was Zeus that time.
That was the Night Stalker game, right?
Yeah. So it's hard to say, but I think even if you kind of adjust for the hero matchups, G has still not looked as good as he has in the past. So it's something a couple of pro players have brought up as well in private. They're wondering like how is G doing, and
Yeah.
is there something on his mind? It's not the G of old.
The games that we saw yesterday and the day before as well, we had talks about how much pressure that was going to be on the mid lane and how much emphasis the supports laid on that mid lane. How do you feel it's going to be with this matchup? No Dendi in the equation, which is the odd factor out. So how heavily are they going to focus G? Are you going to assume he's going to not play his A game as he used to and just focus on winning your other lanes, assuming that no one is going to do well anyway? Because no one is actually one of the mid laners that I feel is really, really good and is just constantly on the rise.
I actually think both of these teams are probably the 2 most aggressive teams maybe in this tournament. Like the average game time of all the 7 games they played was like 28 minutes or around there. So I think the game is going to be decided in like the first 20 minutes.
Okay.
Easily. Like if someone gets good momentum, they get an early Roshan, and these teams like they love their heroes like Venge, their Beastmaster.
Ursa. I want to see Ursa. These teams actually do
Yeah,
pick
Vega
Ursa.
picks Ursa, and also they love Invoker.
Well, you're
One of the
talking
best
about,
heroes.
you know, how important Dire and Roshan is.
It's exactly it.
Fuzzy
yeah.
Wuzzy.
Yeah.
He
Fuzzy
loves
Wuzzy.
that rock.
For
He
sure.
really does.
Man, I'm getting so
Well-
hyped. Early
I mean,
games.
it's not just
CIS,
these two
Dota?
teams, though. It's really everyone in the tournament. Adfinums focuses on the laning stage. I think Navi's probably the most consistently aggressive team in the tournament.
We saw London Conspiracy also focusing heavily on the laning stage.
CIS.
Kill. Quick.
Just kill.
Kill and
Smash
push.
bottles. I mean, hey, every time Denny comes on, you know, he's
talking
sipping the
They're yelling.
vodka.
They're having a great time.
Yeah.
Loosens them.
I'm just so pumped, man. We got such action coming our way today. All these teams are so aggressive. They're so ready for blood. Woo!
Every time Denny comes on, you know, he's
talking
sipping the
They're yelling.
vodka.
They're having a great time.
Yeah.
Loosens them.
I'm just so pumped, man. We got such action coming our way today. All these teams are so aggressive. They're so ready for blood. Woo! It's
Whose
gonna be
head's
good.
going to get ripped off first?
I don't know.
That is the question.
It's going to be a cage match with bears, maybe.
With bears.
You know,
That would be nice.
CIS is still the only region to actually feature a real live bear on
that
stage.
was so
True.
weird. That was.
Okay, there was a LAN. I'm not sure which one it was, but there was a LAN final somewhere in
It was
Russia.
like old game show league.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
was.
Yes. And I think it was Navi that won that.
Yes.
And then they came on stage, you know, ready to take their check because they won. And the check was handed over by an actual bear.
What?
Did you not see this?
Oh, that is sick.
And Puppy was the guy collecting
yeah.
it, and you could just see his reaction. He's like,
Puppy is a gigantic guy.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
he
was actually-
looked small.
He looked small next
was-
to the
it
bear.
was
Because the bear
ridiculous.
was in his hind legs and, you know, holding the check. I don't know how he held the check,
That
but he
is so
did
sick.
hold the check.
Oh, my
And
God.
Bears on stage, DreamLeague, please.
We need
Land
that.
fight.
I've
We
never
don't
seen
time.
Puppy more intimidated in my life.
Wow.
He was like, I'm just gonna take the check. Hey, I wouldn't bite him. I would refuse to get on the stage.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe that's what the red button will be today. Maybe a mountain lion will come out or
They just
Oh,
released
great.
a lot
I-
of bears.
viper.
Do they have those here in Sweden?
I don't
I
know
would
what
not,
the
I wouldn't mind bear
top-
cubs.
Bear cubs?
Yeah.
That would actually be pretty cool.
That would be really cute. Panda bear
Dangerous.
cubs.
Pandas.
Red
yeah,
pandas.
DreamLeague, could you get us some endangered panda cubs?
Yes, please.
Or
For our.
polar bear cubs. Because it's Virtus Pro. They have a polar
Yeah.
bear.
I mean, that's
polar
why
bear
the
cubs.
carpet's all red. It's part of the summoning ritual for
Right.
the red pandas.
This actually
Surely.
is
I
a
went
bear.
to a darker place with that.
It will just slowly.
Panda.
Guys,
Just
I
come-
just had a very important memo.
Yes.
The important memo is the draft started. Let's go into game one.
Stop talking.
Oops.
Oh my God.
Whoa!